Hello, this is Gail Vickers with WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, Everything Entrepreneur.
Hello, this is Gail Vickers with the Everything Entrepreneur Show. Thank you for joining me, Cece. She is the founder and owner of the Going Solo Network, WGSN-DB. Welcome.
But thank you. It's a delight to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you joining us.
I tell you what, when I started the radio station, I knew absolutely nothing. Zero. Absolutely nothing. And so you just have to embrace technology and hopefully you get some good friends that maybe have some knowledge and that you can bend their ear a little bit. And, you know, you just keep plugging away, don't you?
Yes, you do. And I came out of the kindergarten classroom after 24 years of teaching. And my last year was in the 49th school from the bottom out of 4,000 schools in Texas. So it was a really tough school. And I was teaching 5-year-olds kindergarten. I was having, 5-year-olds giving me the middle finger and telling me to F off and all kinds of stuff. And I thought, I decided I'm going to use my business background, my marketing degree that I put on the shelf. I did work in the business world. My grandparents, my grandmother, all of my family were teachers. So teaching was in my DNA.
It's true that I think that we start businesses and you are still teaching. You are teaching in a different format, in a totally different way, and you've embraced technology and you're reaching out to thousands now, hundreds of thousands versus just a small classroom of kindergarten students. But I started basically with nothing. I came out of a terrible marriage and had a horrible, horrible divorce. And I looked at myself and I thought, now what am I going to do from here? Here I am in the latter part of my life. And I felt at times that my life was over with. And so then I started thinking, well, I can't just quit and I have to figure out something. So then I started thinking about my life as it was when I was with my ex. And he had businesses which were very successful. We made quite a lot of money. And I realized, I started thinking about it, thinking, well, I was really the woman behind the man. There were many times I did a lot of, I would say, bookkeeping, administrative things, calling, supportive, tech, anything I could do to keep him, going so that his business would be successful so he could, of course, share wealth with our family. But then I'm sitting here divorced thinking, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? All the money that I thought we had invested, all the money I thought we had in savings, all my future was gone, missing, gone. And so then I'm thinking, okay, now I'm going to have to start a life with nothing in the latter part of it. What am I going to do? And so as I started thinking about what I did with my ex, I thought, I can do this myself. I can start building something myself. And there has to be other people out there that are feeling the same way that I'm feeling. And so I had joined the divorce support group, which was founded by another lady. And there was it was right at the very, start of it. There were about 5 of us, I think, at the very beginning. And then it grew. And she decided to move forward and move on with her life and into a different direction. So I took the group over with another friend. And then she met someone. And then she decided that she no longer wanted to do it. And so I stayed because it helped me to really kind of find who I am. And it gave me the strength to be able to move forward. And so, when you have your toxic relationship program, I think it's so vital for people that come from that type of arena. And I have been in an abusive situation, that I think that being able to group with people with the same like-minded experiences gives us strength from within, empowers us. So
it does. And that's what I'm hoping to do up in Denver when my son and I get there. Right now, the Toxic Relationship Rescue Program is a LLC, so it's not set up as a nonprofit. But as soon as I get to Denver, that's one of my first priorities is to change that to a nonprofit. Then I'm also going to get up there and talk with the Potter's House, T.D. Jakes Church up there, because T.D. Jakes is all about empowering women, and he's a well-known TV evangelist, and he's frankly one of my favorite preachers. He's from the same area I'm at, from West Virginia, Charleston. And he's just this big black man he's just powerful when it comes to preaching to women especially. And I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be great if I could get in with his church and maybe start small with them, or maybe they've already established some sort of a program for women, and then kind of branch out from there.
That's the thing, is having some sort of plan, even though it may not be exactly how you're thinking as you're moving forward. And I think in business, I think we have to do that. It may not be exactly how you're thinking, but your path is starting to get set. You're starting to move forward. And I think that's what happened to me. I started with the divorce support group, and I found that I had a passion there to be able to help others and to do different things. Then a good friend of mine, Connie Rose, who has a great business, is Victims to Survivors, about abuse of people and ladies and I think men too. I think she does men too. But she helps those that have gone and traveled through abuse to be able to better enjoy their life, better to get through their lives, to really redefine their lives. And she also helps with trafficking for children, so it's very, very important. But anyhow, to get on that, but I do want to give her a plug because I think what she does is very, very important. But she had a show, and I went on and talking about domestic violence in a relationship because I, had experienced that. And I saw it a lot in the divorce support group. And when I left that, Eric Rummel and his father offered me a show. And so I decided, I have no idea what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it, but it's there. It's a door that's open for me. And I think so often as we're going through business and we're trying to redefine, restructure our lives, doors open for us. And sometimes we decide, oh no, we can't do it. Now, was I scared my first show? I thought I was going to pass out. I remember they had put a lady in to help with the soundboard, and she looked at me, and we took a break. She looked at me, she goes, I thought you were going to pass out there. And I just kept going on because it was live, and I just kept going through with it. But then I found it was a little bit easier. Then I learned how to do the soundboard myself. I learned how to do different things myself. I found that I actually had fun and enjoyed it, and it connected me with just such wonderful people, throughout the entire, business arena, and it just kind of grew from there. So I think we just have to keep the doors open, allow people to walk into our lives so that we can continue on with our mission, whatever our mission, our passion is.
I agree, and that's what I did. The first year I was petrified starting out, so I'd hire all these business coaches.
Yeah, because I get it, because I've experienced that too. I've been wanting, and I've always wanted to be able to have a more of a global membership site for those that are going through divorce, transitioning into dating and relationships. And I've tried several times. I've hired people to do that. They've all said they can do it, and unfortunately they can't. There are just bad people in the world.
Well, I use that as a learning tool.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I am a business coach now. I'm a mentor. So I know what I wouldn't do to someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because it happened to me, my goal is to treat everyone the way I want to be treated. So what I can do is offer really good coaching for minimal prices compared to what the other coaches charge.
Yeah. And I do the same thing because I feel that I want to give back. And so I'm not doing what I do to make a great deal of money, although I would like to make money. I'm not don't want to monetize.
And you will.
Yeah, and you have to pay the bills. You have to pay the lights on. You have to do those things.
Yeah.
But I have a bigger picture, a bigger goal, a bigger passion than just that. And so kind of call it the school of hard knocks. We have been definitely knocked around a bit.
Yeah.
And but our futures are so
always
bright.
happen to the nice people, Cece.
Because we're nice, because we are nice. Saying that, okay, let's flip the coin. And the thing is like, I have been touched by so many wonderful people. I mean, absolutely wonderful people. The station is up and running because Chuck Bryan, a good friend of mine, the divorce support group said, listen, we would like to have shows at 3:00 in the morning. So, because I had my Going Solo with Cece show for a long time, and it was on during the day, and they go, we'd like to have a show on at 3:00 when we can't sleep. We have something positive to listen to. And I started thinking, and I thought, well, I wonder if we could do something like that. And so I mentioned it to my friend Chuck, Chuck Bryant, and he has a gospel station, and he said, you know what, Cece, we can make it happen. We'll do it. And he set me up for practically nothing.
Wow.
And we are a live streaming station. He has embraced me. He's helped me. He's like, even today, you know, he's doing some tweaking, doing some things to it. And
Wow.
you know, he's been wonderful. So, I mean, I think with every bad experience we might have, we probably have 20 better. But we don't remember those really good ones because the bad ones are what stings us, you know. It's what really hits us.
The ones that hurt your pocketbook, you remember for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to help my clients not have to go through that experience.
Yeah.
You know, that I feel like I can save them money, you know, like tens of thousands of dollars, literally, that I spent in that, you know, they don't have to, because truly I believe this is my goal as far as coaching, business coaching and life coaching. If I haven't been able to help you in 3 months, then there's something wrong with my business coaching. Whereas a lot of these coaches will get you on a contract for like 12 months and you're paying them $1,000 a month, and then you're on the payroll, but they're not doing that much. So to help you. So if I can't get my strategies in motion in a 90-day period, then I feel like, and then you're earning money by the end of that 90-day period, then I haven't done my job.
I agree with that. I think that there are some out there that have these big, a monthly type of contract type of thing. I think it's kind of better to have a package, like you would do a package for
exactly.
a time. Then you're hopefully getting more out of it doing that. Also, you know, there's different styles of coaching, different people. I know that I'm a coach and I know how I do it. I maybe a little bit different than someone else. And so, you know, you just have to kind of give yourself a little space to be able to see if that coach is going to work for you, if they really tune into what your needs are and what you're trying to do. And a lot of times, you know, the thing is you don't know where you're going. You know, when you first start out, like for me, just starting out, I didn't really have a sense of direction, and it's taken me a while to get there.
And that's why I hired a coach, because I was like totally clueless. The only thing I knew that I wanted to do was be in business online. Like I'd seen all these other people, they were having great success online. And I thought how great it is to work online from your home or anywhere. And I thought that's really what I want to do, because I have a 17-year-old daughter, but she was, I think, about 15 at the time. And it was one of those that you needed to supervise 24/7. And I did.
They go through that.
And so I was at home through her teenage years, starting my businesses up, and I hired my coaches in order to help me, you know, accelerate my money making online. But instead, I found that I was actually just spending more money and not bringing it in because of that confidence factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you lack confidence in anything, it takes a toll on your business, your personal life, anything.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the goals in the Toxic Relationship Rescue Program, and we'll talk about that when we come back, because I see we're running, we need to take a break. When we come back, let's get right into that, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
We're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network.
And we were going to talk about the Toxic Relationship Rescue Program. That's one of the things that I really, my heart is into, helping women coming out of abusive relationships gain their confidence ASAP. If you go to a women's center, like I went to the Houston Women's Center and I did talk to the counselor there, and I said, he wasn't physical with me until I told him I was going to get a divorce. But it was more or less, I said, so the real physical abuse really didn't occur during the marriage. I was married 32 years to him. In my case, it was more neglect. It was like never living up to his expectations.
Either way, it's an abusive situation and it hurts you. I mean, abuse, no matter whether it's physical or if it's mental, and when it's physical, it's mental at the same time. But when it's like that, it really hurts your core. And I think that we have to, in order for us to be able to get strong and to be empowered again, we have to start understanding that, to me, and I know, forgive me for waffling a little bit, but for me, we take ownership, I think, as the victims of abuse. We take ownership of their behavior. And as soon as we can start understanding that their behavior and how they've reacted to us is not ours, then we can start empowering ourselves. So we realize that it isn't what we did that made them, yell at us or abuse us or do that, whatever they did. And I don't want to go into all of that. But what their behavior is theirs, and we can't own it. We can only understand ourselves and understand like the patterns that we have in our lives. And so as, you and I have talked several times about patterns in our lives and people that we've chosen to be in our lives. And so when we start putting those together, we start connecting the dots, we can start seeing that some of those people that we've chosen into our lives, even the ones that have taken advantage of you in business, you're still falling into that kind of realm of victimized. And so you have to step back and say, and you have done that, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. You've done that. You stepped back and you said, no more. I'm not going to pay anymore until you show me what you can do. And I want to see that. And so I think we as women and men who are then subject to some sort of abuse or knock down a peg or whatever you want to call it. I think we have to start taking ownership of our own lives, not ownership of what someone did to us, but ownership of what we've done. Like, for instance, I was taken advantage of a little bit trying to get the websites up and things like that. But, I'm not angry with the people that did it. I'm more understanding that maybe that place in my life, that time in my life, I wasn't really aware of what I was doing. So I need to be better adapted to understanding. So that means I need to get education about websites. I need to understand them. So if I'm going to be a woman in business and men too, if you're going to be in business, you have to be knowledgeable.
Exactly.
So I can't play the card that, okay, I've been, knocked down a few times. I can't do that, because if I do that, I'm going to continue to stay down. So what I have to say is, what can I do to empower myself to be able to bring myself forward?
And that goes right into what I did. After I learned that the people were not going to do my websites the way they said they were, and they started funneling in other words, if somebody clicked in, it would go to them, their lead system, their marketing system. So they were gathering leads through my website. Okay, so I shut them down. I'm like, I'm not playing with you guys. We're done. And
just wanted to share that with you. We had a show on Amy Sherman, who does divorce, dating, and empowered living. She just did a show, and for singles, but I liked her show. I was listening to it last night, and what she was talking about is change your story, change your life. And I thought, man, that can go for all areas. We can do that in business. We can do it in our own personal life. And I think you're doing that now. And so we can talk on the show about all that's happened to you, but I'm wondering if what we ought to focus on is all the good that's going to be happening.
The good part was I got so upset with these people that I was determined to learn how to build my own website. And I did. So now I know how to build websites. So what I do is I can get them up in the day.
So important too, because sometimes when you have a business and you want to move forward, you don't want to spend the time learning how to do something. So you've already mastered.
Right. I have. So I built my own website. So if everybody wants to go look at it, it's at www.everythingentrepreneur.llc.com. And every little thing you see on there, I built. And I did it. So I just want to encourage people, you will have some experiences when you get in business that are not going to be ideal. And don't let it stop you. Whatever you do, don't let it stop you.
A lot of people like ourselves started out and they don't really know exactly what to do. I mean, I had some elements of that because of course running the business with my ex, we had our own business several times and they were successful. And so I think that a lot of times we don't know what we're doing. And so we start out and we try to get the appropriate people and we kind of twist and turn a little bit with that. So I'm wondering if we should give some tips maybe to the listeners as to bullet points, as to what they can do if they're looking to start redefining themselves. And I thought today, for me, what's important that I want to make sure that people understand is that when you find yourself in a place where, like you and I have felt, Gail, that we were down, we didn't know what we were going to do, we didn't know what our future was.
I think the good word is broken.
Yeah.
You feel broken.
Yeah. And so when you feel like that, you're really at a place where you can start anew. And so even though it sounds horrible, but but if you take it for a moment and you catch your breath, you can start to understand that, gosh, this is something I can now start building. So if I can just put the stuff, if I could just make a marker and say, okay, I'm going to draw a line in the sand and what's happened to me in the past, I'm going to put that line there and I'm going to step over it now. And I'm going to start restructuring my life, redefining, restyling it, redoing everything to it. And I can take ownership of that. And I think that's what I'm hoping that people will understand, that, our paths are not written for us. We have choices that we can make, that we can move forward. And you've done that. My gosh, you've got several businesses that are growing now. And even though some of them are at the beginning stages, some of them have already started and launched and taking off, and they're doing very well. And so you're doing good. And you're here as one of the hosts on WGSN-DB Going Solo.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We love having it. And so that's the whole thing, is embracing your life. And so maybe we can just give them some tips. Number one is start taking ownership of yourself and not those around you. Someone does anything wrong to you or whatever, yeah, they did, and are we mad? Yeah, and are we gonna, cry and stomp our feet and do whatever we need to do it and get done with it and move on. And then what would you say the next thing is once you start taking ownership of your life, what would you say is the next tip that you would give someone?
I'd say mentorship. I think everybody needs a good mentor. Like you were saying that you worked with 5 different people in the beginning. And then, Chuck came in and did the technical aspects for you that you were doing you. So getting in, you have to realize I'm not an island. I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
And I have that mentality from when I was young. I mean, I just came into the world thinking I could do anything. And so I'd say, to my mom, I want to wear these yellow shorts, and she'd tell me no, and I put them on and I ran away. I mean, that's the kind of kid I was.
Yeah.
Bye.
But you're right. When you were young, your parents were like your mentors. They helped you get through some of those places in life. And I agree. I think coaches, mentors, like-minded people, business. If you are looking at doing a business, connect with business networking groups and try to find yourself in there with people that you admire and you can look up to, and there's a few here in the Tampa Bay area that I absolutely love, and I watch them, I read everything they do. I would like to be like them. And so, I have the same passion, the same drive that they have. And so connecting yourself with others, I think, is so important. Absolutely.
I think so too. And I think didn't make a lot of clients from doing meetups. Mm-hmm. That if you go and join the meetup groups, you can become an organizer of a meetup group. I have 3 in Houston and Cypress. I have the Cypress.
I have 6 groups.
Oh, do you?
I do. I have the divorce support group. I have a next step transition group. I have an events group. I have a single business group. I have a business group, and then I have another divorce support group in Sarasota. Wow. So yeah, I have 6, and I would have more. the thing is like, okay, this is my next tip. So number one would be owning yourself, understanding that you need to own your own life and move forward. The other is connecting, have mentors, connecting with friends, people that you admire that's going to push you to the next level. And then to me is absorbing. I think that we have to absorb new things out there and not close our door and say, okay, this was the traditional way, so I'm not going to look at it. And if we did that, we wouldn't be on the internet, would we?
No.
And so, yeah, I mean, so I think we have
a 9-to-5 job right now.
yeah. So I think we have to absorb everything. And so when Chuck said to me, Cece, we can do this, we can make this happen, I said, okay, you show me what I need to do. Tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. And I mean, he had to tell me a few times, but he was patient with me, and I was able to get through it. I read everything I can possibly read.
I do too.
I look at everything I can look at. My friends send me things. They send me links and this and that and say, oh, check this out. Look at this. And I do. So I think we have to absorb that. Doesn't mean we have to do all of it, but I do think that we have to allow, and what that is like, how we talk about leaving a door open. That's bringing a window open, opening the window and saying, let some of that stuff come in. Let's see if any of it's going to settle. Let's see if it's going to be good for me. And so I think absorbing some of those other things that are out there, I think is a great tip, don't you?
I do too. And I think there's so many things you can become overwhelmed by all the information on the internet, all the YouTube videos, all of that. So I believe that the best thing you can do is really get in touch with yourself first. And I'd say take a list, like, Warren Buffett does lists 5 things he's good at and then, or wants to do, and then he does like the top 3. So Warren Buffett, the billionaire. So, I say, look at yourself, your 5 greatest strengths. Mm-hmm. And if you can't do it yourself, then have other people help you point out what they are, and then take the top 3 of your strengths and then just capitalize on that, and then form your business from your strengths. So you start, and then go help people in those areas. Like on my LinkedIn profile, I'll go there and I look at the top 3 endorsements. I'm like, what do other people think I'm good at? Well, my top one was teaching. The second one was public speaking, and the third one was strategizing. And I thought, wow, those are all the areas that I'm really interested in.
You know what I do is I have a book, like a regular, I probably could grab it, but I keep it. And anything that I think of interest, I can deal with it now. Maybe it's too expensive for me, or maybe I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could use this in the future. I write it down.
Yes.
I write down any sites so that I can go back and look at it, any words, anything people say, I write it all down so that we can later on go back and look at that. And believe it or not, that I have used that so much because I'm in a place where I'm doing different things, and I look at that book and I think, oh yeah, I had that written down. I had this website written down that could give me this information that I need or whatever. And that was from a couple years ago. So.
And that's what Richard Branson does too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. You and Richard.
Okay, Richard, I'm available. I am available. Anyone who's out there, I am.
Yeah, and following successful people and knowing what they do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's super important. I mean, everybody thinks that all these, big guys like Richard Branson and Tony Robbins and Danny Johnson and Sandra Kurkowski, they all have the same thing in common in that, number one, they're people persons. Mm-hmm. So they're all very extroverted. They share what's on their mind. They're very transparent with people. They're very authentic. All the big names, they all are people.
Yeah. Well, they're real. I mean, they're absolutely real. And that's what you find, like Oprah and all the friends that you really connect to.
Yeah.
They're just real people. And so they they figured out what makes them tick, where their passion is, what drives them. Yeah. And so then they've taken ownership of their lives, and they've connected with good people, and they've absorbed everything that's come their way.
Yes.
be good or bad, they've absorbed it.
They're
learned
yes people.
Yeah.
They're yes
learned from it.
people.
Yeah. And so I guess maybe the last tip we could give them is just keep moving forward. Don't think that whatever you've done, and I feel, and personally I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel that we're always going to make money with everything that we do.
No, we don't.
Take away so much more sometimes. So I think that's so important, that it's giving to others sometimes what really we get back, tenfold. So I think if we just kind of leave our doors open and we help each other and we try to be good people, we will continue to grow. I mean, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Cece, for being on the show. And
thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.